Hey guys, it's me, Letitia, so adventurous, and today I'm going to be sharing a video I made showing me sewing a zipper pouch. Now, this is not really a tutorial. I don't have any cutting directions or instructions. It's just kind of a video of me showing how I made this zipper pouch that I had been thinking about making. This is just a little 6 by 9 inch zipper pouch. The zipper is down the middle, and in the video you're going to just see me quickly go through showing how I made the front panel with the zipper in the middle, and then adding the lining piece as well as the back piece. So what you're seeing me do here in the first few minutes of this video is sewing half of the front pocket piece, the front of and the lining of the the front of the zipper pouch to the zipper. So what I have is I have the two sides that are cut in half again, so that's going to be about 6¼ by 4½, and I'm sewing them to the zipper. Now the zipper is sandwiched in between the two pieces of fabric. And so once I've sewn them together to the zipper, I flip them out, and they're right sides together, and so I'm now flipping out the two pieces of fabric, and I'm going to do a top stitch down on this. And so this zipper pouch is lined. It's lined with quilt cotton. There is no interfacing on either one of these, and this is because it's a test bag. It's not anything that, again, a pattern that I followed. It's just something that I decided I wanted to have so I could store some of my masks when I'm going out and about, because I have a lot of them created, and I just needed something to carry them in. So I'm just sewing the lining fabric and the outer fabric to the zipper. I didn't sew from the very end to the other end. I left about a 1/4 inch space so that when I sewed all the way around, that I would not be sewing over the zipper, because that makes it kind of funky. So here what I'm doing is I'm just adding the other side of the front part of the pouch. And again, I've got the zipper sandwiched between the lining fabric and the outer fabric. They are right sides together. I'm clipping it and trying to line it up. And once I get it all clipped and lined up, then I'm going to sew down the side. Again, I'm going to leave about a 1/4 inch from the start and from the beginning, so that when it's turned out, it's not going to be, so I won't be sewing over that part. So I top stitched that down, and my top stitching is also a 1/4 inch away from the edge. And now I'm going to show you that, hey, I've got a nice little zipper open and close. It opens and closes easy. There's the lining fabric. And I'm going to move on to sewing the back part of the lining fabric to the front part of the lining fabric. And I've clipped the outer fabric together so I don't get it caught up in the seam of the lining fabric. And what I'm doing here is trying to shove the zipper head inside so that I don't sew it and leave it on the outside. So I did have to push the zipper on the inside. And so now I'm going to be sewing a quarter of an inch all the way around the lining fabric only. And I had to change my foot out because I had my zipper foot on, so I'm just putting on my regular foot. And the lining fabric that I'm sewing together, it is going to be right sides together on the lining, because and I'm going to sew all the way around. I don't have to do any type of flipping, so I don't have to leave an opening. I can just sew all the way around, and I do backstitch when I do this sewing, and backstitch on the corners, and I just pivot, and I'm trying to make sure I do not sew over the lining, the outer fabric. I am going to sew over the zipper, and that's going to close it up to make sure, again, my zipper head doesn't go flying off. So I am sewing right over that zipper, and going to be going all the way around. So there I am. I've gone ahead and sewn all the way around. As you can see, it's all closed up. And one of the things that I did not do on this particular zipper pouch is I didn't trim down the seam allowance. And I kind of wish that I had, because later when I sew the back of the outer fabric to the front of the outer fabric, there is a little bit of bulk in there, and I don't want to sew the seam allowance of the lining into the seam allowance of the outer fabric. So I cut off the zipper, the extra zipper part, and now I'm going on to sewing the outer fabric to the zipper pouch. And what I did on this one is I put the right sides together, and again I'm going to be clipping the lining fabric out of the way to get that sewn together. And I was just showing you the little clip bag that I have here. So what I'm doing is clipping the lining fabric out of the way, because I don't want to sew the lining fabric into the seam allowance of the outer fabric. And once I get it all clipped down, then I'm going to be sewing the outer fabric together, right sides together. I am going to be leaving an opening on this one because I am going to have to turn it out. And so I'm not going to be starting from, I'm not going to be sewing all the way around like I did with the lining fabric. I'm actually going to be leaving about a 3 to 4 inch opening so that I can turn the bag. And so here is me sewing next to the lining fabric, not over it, over that zipper portion. And there's no extra zipper there, so I don't have to really worry about anything. But I do have to kind of get my machine to cooperate and move it along. But I'm going to continue to sew all the way around except for that 3 to 4 inch opening. So now that I've sewn all the way around, I am turning the pouch inside out, and I'm going to be checking to make sure that everything did sew up, and I'm going to discover that I have a little bit of an opening, so I'm going to have to turn it back inside out and sew that portion up again. I mean, outside of that, this pouch was really very quick. I mean, it came together really fast. So here's me turning it inside out and sewing that portion that didn't get caught into the stitching. So I'm again not going to sew over the lining, it's just over that little portion that didn't get caught into that didn't get caught all the way up. So I just went back and resewed it. So now I'm turning it all the way out again. And I'm going to poke out the corners and make sure that everything did get stitched up this go round. And you know, when I closed the zipper on this pouch, that's when I realized that I probably should have did zipper tabs, because the zipper tabs would have made it a little cleaner on the ends of the zipper. And it's got a little bit of a bubble on it, but it looks good.
And so I am continuing to just get this all flattened out and poke out those corners. And now what I'm about to do is a top stitch of the opening to close up the bag completely. Usually you can do this with your hand, or you can do it on machine. I chose to do it by machine. And so I'm going to stitch down the opening, make sure it's nice and closed. And so that's what you're doing right now. That's what I'm doing right now, is just I'm stitching that opening closed. And I ran out of bobbin, and so I have to change out my bobbin. And once I get that bobbin changed out, then I'm going to go ahead and top stitch that opening closed. You know, if you like this, please subscribe to my channel or like my video, or please leave me a comment in the comment section about what you think about this bag that I've sewn together. I'd greatly appreciate it. So I'm just finishing up that opening. I did backstitch at the end there, and clipping all my excess threads to make sure that everything looks clean. And I'm noticing that I don't like the end of that zipper pouch, how it came out. But outside of the end of the zipper, I think this bag is really nice. I love the fabric, and it's cute, and it's going to serve its purpose, which is to hold masks. So thanks for watching. And again, please like, subscribe, comment down below. And if you have any questions, just let me know.